When we talk about autonomous drone networks, it's all about how do you make the drone flights more safe and secure. And it's all about minimizing the risk when drones fly over heads of people. So one element is how do you minimize those risks by taking real-time information available on the ground. Other part is the whole digitalization of that airspace. Traditionally, aviation and telecom, they have not been talking to each other. Of course, satellite communications have been there. But when you look at the drones and other eVTOLs, I think that's where the aspect of autonomous networks will play an important role. Digital airspace pretty much started from an understanding of what airspace really looks about. And there we started about how does the coverage really look in the third dimension. Because traditionally, the mobile networks have been designed for terrestrial networks on the ground. And that's what mobile operators have always been making business on. But when you fly a drone up in the air, let's say 120 meters or 150 meters, then the drone starts latching on to different signal strengths coming from whole lot of base stations. And that's not an ideal situation because there's a lot of interference and signaling load. So from Ericsson perspective, we're trying to understand how coverage could be strengthened in the digital airspace. That's one element. Second, we've been working very closely with enterprises who are engaged in the drone operations, trying to understand what their immediate needs are, what their pain points are when they fly BVLOS. And then we're trying to work with mobile operators to understand, okay, are there assets in their network that can help address some of these challenges? So that's the role that Ericsson is trying to bridge, more about a confluence between aviation and telecom. I think it's a question of looking at an opportunity. I mean, drones are already there. There are multiple use cases across industries. Look at the first transponder being used by police, for example, or the firefighting agencies. So drones are already used in the current scenario. Of course, there are problems in the current network in terms of BVLOS flights. But let's also understand the opportunities to monetize are already there. And that's not only for drone operators, but it's also for mobile operators because they have those assets in the network that can help the drone operators to monetize it. So I think it's already happening and it's a stepwise approach because a lot of people are dependent on regulations. And regulations are also dependent on what should they base their decisions on. So it's a catch-22, but I think all of them are collaborating, and I think that's what the need of the hour is. We are very glad to be here, and it's our first time. Traditionally, we've been focused more on mobile events like Mobile World Congress. And I think this confluence which is happening between telecom and aviation is super important for us. Looking at a lot of stakeholders here at Amsterdam Drone Week gave us an opportunity to reflect what their needs are and how mobile operators can really help them. More importantly, it was a dialogue with bodies like EASA, and we are engaged in CSR projects as well. It's also about bringing the best practices to these important bodies so that they can formulate the regulations accordingly. So I think we're very pleased to be here and hope the other stakeholders found it worthwhile for us to interact with as well.